This is one of the biggest transformations for me. I was always calculating in my brain all of the different scenarios and what to do for each of them. I had questions about each stage, each step of the way, and follow-up questions on what happens after that, and then even beyond that. I controlled everything around me. Now, I deal with today, with what I have to do right now. I will think about these things, of course, but I don't dwell on them. I don't let myself go to the what ifs. Recurrence of Ewing sarcoma isn't shed in a positive light when you search it. You get anywhere from single digits to 33% at 5 years. For his original diagnosis, in his age group, he had a 56% survival rate at 5 years anyway. And this fall, this is 5 years. He's working full time and living his life. I didn't ask about what happens if it's cancer. I didn't ask what comes next. What treatments or timelines are we looking at? Because none of it matters until we have the results. And those aren't coming until July. I am not going to live scared until July. We've done that. We have seen the scary words on scans and results, and I'm not going to return to old ways. I also have seen changes in my body. I hold on to less tension. Now the only thing that tightens me up is the physical pain. That won't change. Pain is exhausting. It uses so much energy just to function on a day-to-day basis. But I don't have to consciously relax my muscles like before. My body isn't holding me together in a tight squeeze anymore. A lot of that baggage has been released. I notice more things and have had my brain calculate and process in real time, which is so bizarre. I feel steady now, and I feel like I'm at a crossroads. There is still work to be done. My therapist says that I still have some unburdening to do, which I wasn't sure what she meant, but I've been meditating on that this week. And I think I know at least a part of it. I was feeling personal pressure before to get back to my life, back to being a real person, back to church. But I also came to recognize that I don't want to go back to that life. I don't want to run into burning buildings and deplete my energy to the point that I'm run into the ground. I don't want to sacrifice myself anymore for others. Help others? Yes, but with boundaries. I have self-preservation now. So I feel like instead of always looking backwards, it's time to also start looking forwards. What's next? That question doesn't feel so daunting anymore, which is a sign that I am ready to start looking ahead. I am happy. I want to preserve that feeling. I get to define who I am, who I want to be, and what I want my life to look like. The quality of life is challenging. Until a few months ago, I had none. Now I get to figure out the things that I want to do with my life and then figure out how to adapt to get those things accomplished. I can have goals. I can have dreams. I can decide who I want to be and work towards it. I want to figure out a daily routine. I want to have a weekly baking schedule where I can start adding in discard recipes. I want to figure out how to maintain the house so it doesn't become overwhelming. I'm scared of my raging undiagnosed OCD though, when it comes to organization. My coworker knew I was back at work before they told him, because all of the staplers and tape dispensers were perfectly perpendicular to the shelf instead of just tossed underneath. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. I have several things about the kitchen that bother me now that I'm trying not to get crazy with. I don't want to go from one bad habit to another. We are not transferring quote-unquote addictions here. I no longer feel like there's a proverbial shoe hanging above my head at all times when it comes to the move to my mom's property. I was cautiously optimistic when I sent the paperwork that needs to be processed before we start planning. However, as our lives tend to go, I felt like there was something that was going to happen and the move was not going to work out, as is tradition with our lives.